Happiness isn't something that just happens to you. It's a choice. It's a decision you make every single day. Most people wake up, they roll out of bed, and they wait for life to give them a reason to feel good. That's backwards. You've got to flip it. You've got to push yourself to be happy, no matter what's going on around you. Because here's the truth, life's never going to be perfect. There will always be problems, setbacks, challenges. But if you keep waiting for things to line up before you let yourself feel happy, you're going to spend your whole life waiting. Happiness comes from within. It's a state of being you create, and you do it by focusing on what's good, what's working, and what you can control. When you wake up, instead of grabbing your phone and scrolling through negativity, stop, take a deep breath, be grateful. Find one thing you appreciate in your life right now. It might be small, it might be big, doesn't matter. Gratitude shifts your focus, and focus is everything. Happiness is also momentum. The more you choose to smile, to laugh, to enjoy the moment, the easier it becomes. But you've got to push through the resistance. Some mornings you won't feel like it. Some days you'll feel tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. That's when it matters most. Because happiness is a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And here's the kicker: when you make happiness your daily habit, everything else in your life gets better, your relationships improve, your work gets easier, your health gets stronger. People want to be around you. Why? Because energy is contagious. And if your energy is high, positive, happy, you lift everyone else around you. So remember, this happiness is not an accident. It's not a gift from the outside world. It's a practice. And the only person who can give it to you is you. Push yourself to be happy every single day. Most people live their lives on autopilot, reacting to whatever life throws at them. If something good happens, they feel good. If something bad happens, they feel miserable. They're basically like leaves blowing in the wind, with no control over where they go or how they feel. And here's the truth that's a recipe for frustration, because life will always bring ups and downs. If you base your happiness on circumstances, you'll never have any stability. You'll always be chasing, always waiting, always depending on something outside you to give you permission to feel good. That's not happiness, that's dependency. And dependency will rob you of your peace every single time. So what's the alternative? You've got to flip the script. You've got to make a decision. Conscious, intentional choice that you're going to feel good no matter what. That doesn't mean you ignore reality or you pretend everything is perfect when it's not. What it means is you stop letting external things dictate your internal state. You decide that your happiness comes from you, and the moment you make that shift, everything changes. Because now, instead of waiting for life to make you feel good, you create your own reasons to feel good. You're in control. You're not a puppet on the strings of circumstances anymore. Think about this happiness as like a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer reacts to the temperature in the room. It has no control. It just reflects what's happening around it. That's how most people live. But a thermostat sets the temperature. It creates the environment. And if you choose to be like a thermostat with your emotions, you set your own level of happiness. You don't wait for the world to heat up or cool down. You set the dial yourself. You decide, I'm going to be happy today. And when you live like that, you stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the creator of your own state of mind. Now, some people push back on this idea. They'll say, but you don't understand my situation. You don't know what I'm going through. I'll be happy when I get that promotion. Lips. When I make more money. When I find the right partner. When my problems finally go away. And here's the thing: they don't realize they're putting their happiness on hold. They're making it conditional. They're basically saying, I'll let myself feel good later when things are different. But later never comes. Because once they get that promotion, they'll want another one. Once they make more money, they'll want more. Once they find a partner, they'll find something wrong with them. If you make your happiness conditional, it will always be just out of reach. When you truly understand that happiness is a choice, not a reaction, you start to take your power back. You stop blaming your boss, your partner, the economy, your childhood, or whatever else you've been pointing at. You stop waiting for the world to give you a reason. And instead, you start giving yourself reasons. You start asking, what's good in my life right now? What can I appreciate today? What can I focus on that will lift me up instead of drag me down? That's the shift. It's not about denying challenges. It's about not letting challenges decide whether or not you're going to be happy. Because if you let circumstances control your state, you're giving your power away. And when you give your power away, you'll always feel empty. Choosing happiness daily doesn't mean life will magically become easy. Problems don't disappear. But what has changed is the way you experience those problems. If you wake up and decide, I'm going to find a reason to feel good today, then even when things go wrong, you'll handle them with more clarity, patience, and strength. You won't crumble under stress because you've already set your state. You've already chosen your mood. And here's the beautiful thing: when you do this consistently, happiness becomes your natural default. It stops being a struggle and it starts being who you are. You no longer need permission from life to feel good. You've given that permission to yourself. One of the biggest illusions people buy into is this fantasy of perfection. They think, one day when everything finally lines up, then I'll be happy. When I have more money, when I lose weight, when I meet the right person, when my career takes off, then I'll finally be at peace. But the problem is, life never works that way. There will always be another mountain to climb, another problem to solve, another storm to weather. If you're waiting for life to be free of problems before you allow yourself to enjoy it, you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of disappointment. Perfection is not coming. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you free yourself to live right now. The truth is, life is messy. It's unpredictable. One day things are going smooth, the next day something breaks down, somebody disappoints you, or an unexpected challenge shows up. That's the nature of life. It ebbs and flows. And if you're attaching your happiness to those ups and downs, you'll always be on an emotional roller coaster. Some people spend their entire lives chasing this imaginary perfect moment, but that moment never arrives. Because even when something great happens, their mind quickly shifts to the next problem. They're always future focused, always thinking, I'll feel good later. That mindset robs you of the joy that's available right now in this moment. You've got to make peace with imperfection. You've got to embrace the fact that life is always going to be a little messy, and that's okay. Stop thinking that happiness is on the other side of fixing everything. Because let's be honest, you're never going to fix everything. There will always be something that needs attention. The bills won't stop coming. The responsibilities won't disappear. People won't suddenly act exactly the way you want them to. If you keep postponing your happiness until all the stars align, you're going to waste years, maybe your whole life, waiting for something that doesn't exist. Happiness isn't about perfection. It's about acceptance. Think about it like this: if you're driving through a storm, do you just pull over and wait until the weather is perfect before you continue your journey? No, you keep moving, you adjust your speed, you pay attention, and you deal with the conditions as they are. Life is no different. The storms are going to come. The road will get bumpy. But that doesn't mean you stop living, stop enjoying, stop smiling. If you let imperfection paralyze you, you're never going to make progress. You've got to push through the storms and decide that even in the middle of chaos, you can still find joy, you can still laugh, you can still feel grateful. And here's the irony: once you stop chasing perfection, life actually becomes a lot easier. When you let go of the pressure for everything to be just right, you relax, you become lighter, you start appreciating the small wins, the little moments, the daily blessings you used to overlook. A good meal, a laugh with a friend, a sunset, even just the fact that you woke up this morning breathing. Those things start to matter more. You stop waiting for the big, perfect picture, and you start enjoying the brushstrokes. That shift is powerful because it allows you to be happy while life is unfolding, not just when you think you've arrived at some imaginary finish line. So the bottom line is this: stop waiting, stop postponing. Stop telling yourself that happiness is something you'll feel later, when things get better, when you've solved every problem. Because that day isn't coming. And that's not bad news. That's freedom. It means you don't have to wait anymore. You can decide to feel good now, even in the middle of the mess. You can accept life as it is instead of resenting it for not being perfect. And once you do that, you'll realize you don't need perfection to be happy. You just need presence. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools you can use to shift your state of mind, and yet most people completely overlook it. They wake up in the morning and immediately start thinking about everything they don't have, everything that's wrong, and everything they wish was different. And the moment you do that, you set the tone for your entire day. Your focus goes to problems, and what you focus on expands. If you want to feel stressed, anxious, and unhappy, start your day by thinking about what's missing. But if you want to feel strong, centered, and happy, you've got to flip the script. You've got to train your mind to look at what's already good. That's where gratitude comes in. It's the reset button for your perspective. The truth is, gratitude isn't just some fluffy feel-good idea, it's science. When you focus on things you appreciate, so your brain literally starts producing chemicals that make you feel good: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. These are the same chemicals that flood your body when you fall in love, achieve a big goal, or experience something exciting. The difference is, you don't have to wait for those things to happen to feel that way. You can generate it by practicing gratitude. And when you start your day in that state, everything looks different. Problems don't feel as heavy. Challenges don't seem as overwhelming. You carry yourself with more confidence and calm simply because you've chosen to focus on what's right instead of what's wrong. Now, the key here is that gratitude is a practice, not a one-time event. Most people think about what they're thankful for once a year on holidays, and then they go right back to complaining. That doesn't work. You wouldn't go to the gym once a year and expect to be in shape, right? Gratitude works the same way. It's a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. You've got to make it a daily habit. When you wake up in the morning, before you touch your phone, before you get sucked into emails or social media, stop, take a moment, breathe, and list at least 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be huge. It could be as simple as, I'm grateful I woke up today. I'm grateful for this bed I slept in. I'm grateful for my health. That little shift creates momentum. And here's the thing, you don't have to wait until everything is going well to feel grateful. In fact, the real power of gratitude shows up when things are tough. When you're stressed, when money's tight, when you feel lonely, when life isn't going your way, that's when gratitude matters most, because if you can find something to be thankful for in the middle of the storm, you're untouchable. You're proving to yourself that your emotional state isn't controlled by circumstances, it's controlled by you. And that makes you strong. That makes you resilient. Gratitude becomes your anchor in the chaos, the thing that grounds you when life tries to knock you off balance. What's even more powerful is that gratitude changes the way people respond to you. When you carry yourself with appreciation and positivity, people feel it. You become more attractive, more magnetic, more enjoyable to be around. Think about it. Would you rather spend time with someone who constantly complains or someone who finds reasons to smile and appreciate life? Energy is contagious. And if your energy is grounded in gratitude, people are naturally drawn to you. Doors open, opportunities come your way, relationships deepen. It's not magic, it's just the natural result of showing up every day with a grateful heart. So if you want to push yourself to be happy every day, gratitude has to be part of your routine. Start small, but be consistent. Write it down in a journal. Say it out loud. Share it with someone close to you. However you do it, make it a non-negotiable practice. Because the moment you focus on what you already have, you stop obsessing over what you lack. You stop living in a state of scarcity, and you start living in abundance. And when you live in abundance, happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you already own. Most people think happiness is some mystical state that just shows up when life is going well. They see it as random, unpredictable, like the weather. But the truth is, happiness is no different than fitness. It's a skill. It's a discipline. It's a muscle you've got to train every single day. If you sit around waiting for happiness to appear on its own, you're going to be waiting a long time. Just like you can't expect to get strong without lifting weights. You can't expect to feel happy without practicing the habits that build happiness. You've got to put in the reps. Think about it when you first start working out. It's uncomfortable. Your body resists. Your muscles are sore. You don't feel like showing up. But if you push through that resistance and stay consistent, what happens? You get stronger. You build endurance. The exercises that used to feel impossible eventually become easy. Happiness works the exact same way. At first, when you try to choose happiness, it might feel unnatural. You might feel resistance. Your brain might default to negativity or stress. But the more you practice shifting your focus, the more you practice gratitude, the more you push yourself to smile, laugh, and enjoy the present moment, the easier it becomes. Over time, happiness stops being something you fight for. It becomes second nature. The problem is, most people only practice unhappiness. They rehearse stress, worry, fear, and complaining every single day. And guess what? Just like training a muscle, whatever you practice gets stronger. If you constantly focus on what's wrong, your brain wires itself to keep finding problems. Negativity becomes your default setting. But if you start training happiness, if you start practicing optimism, gratitude, laughter, appreciation, your brain rewires itself in the opposite direction. Your default becomes joy. It becomes confidence, it becomes peace, and that's the power of treating happiness like a muscle. You can literally reprogram your entire emotional experience of life. Now, here's the key: building that muscle requires discipline. You're not always going to feel like it. There will be mornings where you wake up tired, days when things go wrong, moments when you feel weighed down, and that's when the training matters most. Anybody can feel happy when life is going perfectly. But pushing yourself to be happy when you're stressed, when things are chaotic, that's the real workout. That's where the muscle grows. Every time you choose to redirect your focus, every time you decide to smile instead of frown, every time you practice gratitude instead of complaining, You're doing another rep, and the more reps you do, the stronger you get. And just like fitness, consistency beats intensity. You don't have to make massive changes overnight. You don't have to force yourself to be wildly positive every second of the day. What you need is daily practice, small steps. A little bit of gratitude in the morning, a moment of laughter in the afternoon, a choice to focus on what's good before bed. These small practices compound over time, and before you know it, you've built a solid foundation of happiness. Just like the body transforms from consistent workouts, your mindset transforms from consistent positivity. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. So if you want to live a happier life, stop waiting and start training. Treat happiness like the muscle it is. Push yourself when you don't feel like it. Stay consistent when life throws challenges at you. Don't expect it to happen overnight, but trust the process. Because the more you work at it, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, happiness won't feel like something you're chasing. It'll feel like who you are. And when you get to that point, life doesn't have to be perfect for you to feel amazing. You've built the strength to choose happiness, no matter what. One of the things people don't realize is that the energy you carry doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone around you. When you walk into a room, people feel your vibe before you even say a word. If you're stressed, anxious, or negative, that energy spreads. People pick up on it even subconsciously. But if you're joyful, grateful, and present, that energy spreads too. Your happiness isn't just about you. It's a gift you give to everyone you interact with. And once you truly understand that, you start to take responsibility for the energy you bring into every room, every conversation, every relationship. Think about your own experiences. You've probably had days where we're feeling great, and then you ran into someone who was moody or negative, and immediately your energy dropped. On the flip side, you've probably also been around people who were upbeat, fun, and full of life, and suddenly you felt lighter, more positive, more optimistic. That's the power of energy. It's contagious. You can't see it, you can't touch it, but you can feel it. And if you want to create a better life, not just for yourself, but for the people around you, you've got to take control of your energy. Your relationships will completely transform when you bring happiness into them. Nobody wants to be around someone who's constantly complaining, pointing out problems, or dragging the mood down. But everyone is drawn to someone who makes them feel good. If you show up with gratitude, laughter, and positivity, people will naturally want to be around you. Romantic partners will feel more connected. Friends will enjoy spending time with you. Even difficult coworkers or clients will soften when they feel your energy lifting the room. Happiness makes you magnetic. It pulls people in without you having to force it. The same is true in your work. When you bring positive energy into your job, everything changes. People notice it. Your boss, your team, your customers, they can all feel the difference. If you're miserable at work, you drag others down. But if you're happy, enthusiastic, and grateful, you raise the standard. You inspire others. You make people want to collaborate with you, want to help you, want to be part of what you're doing. Opportunities open up because people are naturally drawn to good energy. They don't just respect your skills, they respect the way you make them feel. That's a competitive advantage most people overlook. And let's talk about the environment you create. Happiness is like sunlight. It brightens every corner it touches. If your home is filled with laughter and positivity, it becomes a safe haven, a place people want to be. If your workplace is filled with encouragement and humor, it becomes a space where creativity thrives. On the other hand, if your energy is negative, that environment becomes toxic, suffocating, and heavy. You literally have the power to influence the atmosphere around you simply by choosing the energy you carry. And when you consistently choose happiness, the environments you're part of become places of growth, connection, and inspiration. So here's the bottom line: your happiness isn't selfish. It's not just about making yourself feel good. It's about impacting the people you love, the work you do, and the environments you're part of. Every time you push yourself to be happy, you're not just lifting yourself, you're lifting everyone who comes into contact with you. That's why happiness is so powerful. It's contagious. And the more you spread it, the more it multiplies until it creates ripple effects in your relationships, your career, and your world. Happiness isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's something you've got to practice daily, the same way you brush your teeth, shower, or eat. You don't brush your teeth once and say, okay, I'm good for life. No, you do it every day because you know if you don't, things go downhill quickly. Happiness works the same way. If you don't make it a habit, your mind will drift back to negativity, stress, and worry. That's just how the human brain is wired. It's constantly scanning for problems. So if you don't take control of that process, if you don't intentionally push yourself to create happiness every single day, you'll slide back into unhappiness by default. The reality is, no one is coming to do it for you. Nobody's going to show up at your door each morning and hand you happiness like it's a package delivery. It doesn't work that way. Happiness is your responsibility. It's your job. You've got to decide, I'm not going to wait for anyone else to give me permission to feel good. I'm going to do it myself. And the truth is, as soon as you own that responsibility, you become free. You stop blaming your circumstances, your past, or other people. You realize that happiness is not outside of you. It's something you create from within. And here's the thing, building that daily habit isn't complicated. It's simple, but it requires consistency. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. Start with small rituals. Maybe you wake up and spend 5 minutes thinking about what you're grateful for. Maybe you exercise, meditate, or listen to music that lifts your spirit. Maybe you take a walk and appreciate nature. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it gets you into a state of happiness. The key is repetition. Do it every day until it becomes automatic. Because the more you practice it, the more natural it feels, and eventually happiness becomes your default mode instead of something you have to chase. But let's be honest, some days it's going to be hard. You're going to wake up tired. You're going to face setbacks. You're going to deal with stress. And on those days, happiness won't come easy. That's when most people give up. They say, I don't feel like it today. I'll try again tomorrow. But that's exactly when you need the habit the most. Because happiness isn't about waiting for good days. It's about creating good days out of whatever you've got. When life pushes against you, that's when you've got to push back harder. That's when you've got to double down on your rituals, on your focus, on your choice to feel good. That's where the habit proves its power. And when you stick with it, when you really commit to happiness as a daily discipline, everything else in your life starts to shift. You become more resilient. You handle challenges with clarity instead of panic. Your relationships improve because people feel your positive energy. Your health improves because your body responds to the chemicals that happiness produces. Your work improves because you're focused, driven, and inspired. Happiness isn't just a nice extra. It's the foundation. It fuels everything else. And that's why making it a daily habit is non-negotiable if you want to live a meaningful, fulfilling life. So understand this, happiness is not random, and it's not something that just happens. To lucky people, happiness is built. It's trained. It's cultivated through daily practice, and only you can do that work. You can't outsource it. You can't wait for it. You've got to push yourself every single day to create it, because when you do, happiness stops being a fleeting feeling. It becomes your way of life,